Miguel, and many teachers actually helped me turn that around to where I have a great capacity to love and a
Okay.
great capacity today to project that love to help other people.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So do people come to you to actually have you work with them in a healing capacity?
They do. So I have quite a few crystals, as I was showing you a little earlier.
Maybe before we leave, we can get a little
Sure.
shot of those.
And
Yeah.
crystals are actually generators, okay?
Okay.
So um, I'm able through my shamanic training to um, uh, bring great forces of love and light through this body.
Wonderful.
And so when I do that, a person can feel that in their heart immediately. And so what I do is I'm able to, through that energetic, uplift people and take them so they can connect into their soul level.
Beautiful.
And once they've connected into themselves as light, prior to coming into a physical form, there's a connection that is made that is irrevocable. And from that point on, they know that they have this connection with the light. Now, what they do with that's really up to them because,
Okay.
you know, so we have we come from light into form, and as we come into form, immediately when we're out the chute, we're being programmed by our family. They're telling us who our people are, maybe what our religion is, and then we have our life experiences as we go through. We're going, this is good, that's bad, and we create a story, the story of our life. And most people are so invested in the story of their life, they think that that's who they are.
Okay.
But the truth of the matter is that, and I know this directly from my own experiences, that those stories are full of holes, okay? It's like, because our memories are flawed, but the problem is that most people are beholden to that story unless they wake up and go, you know what? I'm not that story. So when I start connecting people into who they truly are, and they start to have that experience of light, then we start a process of deconstruction of the ego.
Wow.
And as the deconstruction of the ego happens, um, then there's the birthing of the soul, the birthing of the love, the choosing, uh, and I underscore choose, that we start to choose what is true for us, because we bring
Yes.
that truth through. And this time, as we construct a new narrative and a new consciousness, it's coming out of our truth, out of our choice. And what happens when you connect into the soul, there's a quality of knowing that happens. And knowing is very different from thinking. It's not a mental process. And that knowing comes directly from deep within our own divine beingness.
Yes.
And so that knowing is a way to navigate through life that helps us make good choices, and also teaches us and empowers us to awaken to our true potential, which is to be a flow of source of light. And one of the greatest joys I get is to watch people go through a process of transformation, and they become very different people because they make different choices. And no matter how they've suffered in life, and I would say that in duality, in that when we're lost in those stories, we see the human suffering.
Yes.
And so this is about coming out of human suffering and birthing ourselves, birthing our souls, and moving into that love and that joy and that bliss that is our true nature, our divine right.
How gorgeous. So let me see if I can understand this. Your process connects a person to their original source of light, and through that, they dissolve the small ego that they've built as their life story and expand it to their infinite light being. So who they are now is an infinite light soul, immortal. And then they're able to use that awareness to bring that light into the world, to shed light into society and around.
Absolutely.
And heal themselves and everything.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's so gorgeous, Michael.
So we move from being the problem to the solution.
That is so beautiful.
Another thing I want to say, and this has really come from living in Sedona, is that I recognize that there are tremendous forces of light coming on the planet now. And so what that's doing is it's bringing up all the shadow, and that's the reason we have so much chaos going on.
Yes.
But it's really the birthing
Yes.
of a lot of beings that are, I'm sitting with two right here. We're beings that come from a very advanced systems of light that agreed to come into a human form, not for our own purposes particularly, but to be of service and so come into a human form, fall asleep, get lost in the story, with the idea that at some point we're going to remember to wake up. And once we wake up, then we're going to be able to capture the vastness of the light that we come from.
Beautiful.
And bring it into the world to help heal the world.
How beautiful. And one of the things that's so joyful about light, if you go into a black area and turn the light on, all the darkness evaporates in 1 second. Mm-hmm. And that's such a gift to the world. Mm-hmm. One of the things you said that I want to make particularly an emphasis on is that you said that once they connect to their truth, they don't have to be, they can follow their intuition and follow their own inner truth. And there's a saying that a great master once said to me, that the truth needs no intellectual validation at all. We don't need to engage our intellect or our minding. When we know the truth, we can just take action, and it's right action.
Right.
Yeah, this is a really beautiful thing that you help people do. Wonderful.
And it's kind of fun to watch people as they walk out of literally kind of one story and birth into another. And so part of the transition of that is I also help people with that, because it's like, once you start a process, then there's got to be follow through. Otherwise, people can sometimes get lost.
Yes.
And so it's really important that I think for anybody that's going to work energetically with people, that they have the understanding that there is that people need to be taken through a whole transition of consciousness. And there are times where people get confused.
Yes.
And they may not recognize their life or know who they are for moments of time. But the extraordinary thing is, every time I'm working with a soul, I always wonder who's about to birth, who's going to show up, what wonderful being is about to present.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and they came to you for this opening. It's like you get to hatch the last bit of the egg until this beautiful divine light comes out.
I have the blessing of being a midwife.
That's wonderful. One of the things that I think was so important that you shared with us, I introduced you as Michael David, and you said recently that you have been imbued with the energy of David to go forward into the world.
That's
and
right.
to become public, which
Right.
you lived a rather insular life and private life up until this point. Can you share a little bit about why you've made that decision and how it's going to happen for you and why it's easy now?
Absolutely. What I'll say is that Sai Baba has had a great deal of magnitude in transforming my life. And